And so we go through that metaphor, that faith once again. And then you have to ask, get the students to understand, which do you think is the truest representation? I had show them a picture from Google image of a bread line, and then show them this, and say to them, which image is the most real? Which is the most true? Okay. I think that these are the Eucharistic the gospel citations for the Eucharist. There is nothing in Scripture that is more attested to than the reality of than the Eucharist, Jesus changing bread and wine, his body and blood. Students, as much as possible, whenever possible, you should use Scripture as a basis to start off. Number one, to let students know that Catholic beliefs aren't just something picked out of the air, but they come from the Bible. Most of our students are going to go to universities where there are very, very strong evangelical Christian movements who believe in the literal interpretation of Scripture. And one of the things they're going to throw up is that our students sometimes don't know much about Scripture at all. Secondly, when they believe that in a literal interpretation of Scripture, that everything in Scripture is exactly as God has said, there's no interpretation, then one of the questions that is not a controversial but a legitimate question is, why is it then they do not recognize the presence of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament when it has been